Right, welcome to this first battle report in the Challenge Accepted series. Stu has brought his Eldar, and this is the board that we're going to be fighting on today. I've only played Stu once before since I got back into Warhammer 40,000, and it was against his Eldar with my 5th edition Blood Angel Codex, and he tabled me. I used to play Stu about 15 years ago at school, so I'm looking forward to this matchup. And like I said, this is today's table. Craftworlds Ulthwe are going to be fighting against the Dark Eldar on this forested planet today. There's lots of line of sight blocking due to the big rocks, lots of 5-up cover due to all the foliage and the trees. We haven't chose sides, we haven't done any dice rolling yet, so we'll come back to you with the armies and any sighted powers and warlord traits as well. Alright, so this is the Dark Eldar force today. We start with a Scalpel squadron. Both Venoms have 2 splinter cannons. Each of the 5-man rack squads have an ossifactor each. Down here we've got the 2 squads of Grotesque and Urian Rakath for the Grotesquerie. Their ability today is Fleet, and obviously Urian is just running stock. We then have the Succubus. She has an Agonizer and Animus Vitae. We've then got 2 squads of 10-man Kabalite warriors. Each of the 10-man squads has a splinter cannon in each. They will be riding in 2 raiders with night shields and splinter racks. We've then got 2 empty raiders just with night shields. We have 5 Scourge there with 4 haywire blasters. We've then got the Ravager with night shields and 3 Dark Lancers. And we've got the Reaper there as well. Again, that has night shields as well. We have 2 squads of 3 Reaver jet bikes. Each of the 3 has a cluster caltrop, which will be represented by the ones with the skulls on the blades. And we have an absolutely bog standard Razor Wing. We've got 2 Shred missiles and 2 Fleshbane missiles on there as well. No night shields. It's worth noting as well that the combat drugs for the bikes and the Succubus is +1 attack, and my warlord trait is generate 1 additional objective on, 1 additional card on turn 1. So we'll now come back to you with Stu's Ulthwe army.
Right, this is my Craftworlds Ulthwe force, led by Farseer Talrien. He's equipped with a Singing Spear, obviously on a jet bike. Artifact he has is the Shard of Anaris. He's accompanying with a bog standard warlock. Might as well do their powers as well. So Farseer got Primaris, all from the Runes of Fate. So Primaris power as Guide, Mind War, Executioner and Fortune. The warlock accompanying him, he's took from Runes of Battle, so he's got Conceal, Reveal and Protect and Jinx. Obviously the Farseer will be my warlord today, and they'll be accompanying in some jetbike squadrons as well, which I'll go over now. So squad of Ulthwe jet bikes, 1 with a shuriken cannon, the rest of them just bog standard. Another squad over here, exactly the same as the other ones. Over to the aspect horse formation, I have 8 striking scorpions with an Exarch with Scorpion's Claw and Scorpion Chainsword. So they'll be in their dedicated transport, which is the Wave Serpent, which I'll go over in a second. So moving on, the next part of the aspect formation is 5 Fire Dragons, Exarch with Fire Pike. And then the Warp Spiders, Warp Spider with Twin Link Death Spinner, and nothing else. Haven't given them Power Blades this time, it's not really worth it in this edition. So moving on to the vehicles, we've got 3 Viper jet bikes armed with dual shuriken cannons, no further upgrades on them. I've got this one here, the Wave Serpent, which is the Fire Dragon's Wave Serpent, which is equipped with the twin-linked Eldar missile launchers with all the variants of the missiles. So that includes the Skyfire one, which is, I believe it's called the Skyhawk or Starhawk missiles. Has an underslung shuriken cannon, Spirit Stones and Hollow Fields. This one here with the twin-linked scatter lasers is the outflanking one with the striking scorpions in. That is equipped with the underslung shuriken cannon, Hollow Fields and Spirit Stones. Moving on to heavy support, we've got 3 Warwalkers. The only Warwalker that isn't painted, so apologies for that. But the rest of them they are equipped as you see, so they have scatter lasers and star cannons, no further upgrades on them. We've got a Wraithlord, with Flamers, Ghostglaive, Bright Lance. We have a Fire Prism. Bog standard Fire Prism. The only upgrades he has is Spirit Stones and the Underslung Shuriken Cannon. And then moving on to the Flyers, we have the Crimson Hunter Exarch equipped with the Pulse Laser and the 2 Bright Lancers, and he's upgraded to an Exarch as well. Okay, Warlord trait, which I rolled on the tactical traits table, is I can re-roll D3s on the tactical trait cards. Okay, and that is my Craftworld force today, which will be taking on the Dark Eldar.
Right, so we've rolled for the mission, we've placed the objectives. The mission today is going to be Deadlock. The objectives that we have, number 1, number 2 is hiding in the rocks there. Number 3, in the grove of trees. Number 4. Number 5, behind the large rocks here. And number 6, tucked away in the back corner there. And as you can see, it's Vanguard deployment for Deadlock. So we'll roll to see who goes first. Stu, do you want to chuck your dice in? I get 3. 6. Stu gets a 6. So we'll come back after deployment. Right, so welcome back after deployment. The Scourge are hiding behind the rock over there. I was hoping Stu would maybe put some vehicles over this side. I've got the Ravager there looking to get a couple of lines down the table from this angle there. I've got 3 Reavers hiding just here. And back here I've got a swarm of Raiders. I decided to deploy everything with it being Deadlock. And Urian will be in this one. The Succubus with 3 other Grotesques in there. I've got the Reaper here with the 3 more jet bikes. So the only thing I've got in reserve is the Razor Wing and the Scalper Squadron, which will be coming down turn 1. Stu's deployment, he's playing quite reserved. He's holding everything quite near the back. So we've got the Fire Prism and the Wave Serpent there. The Wraith Lord hiding in the trees. The bikes, the Walkers and the Vipers looking to get a fast flank on this side. In reserve, he's still got the outflank and Wave Serpent. Are the Spiders in reserve?
Yeah, Spiders, Deep Strike and Fire Dragons are in that.
And the Fire Dragons are in there. Just a quick note as well, Stu opted for the +1 ballistic skill for the Aspect Warhorse. So, I've elected to go first as Stu made me deploy first. So Stu, do you want to see if you sees?
Certainly will. Come on, Eldar goodness. Nope.
That is a 1, so no, we'll now come back after the Dark Eldar movement of turn 1. Right, so these are the cards I drew. I've gotten No Prisoners, Death by 1,000 Cuts, Fear and Terror, Domination, Big Game Hunter, Overwhelming Firepower, and Secure Objective 3. So, we'll now move on to the movement. Alright, so because I've got no Psykers, I've done all my movement. I've done some of the flat out moves, but not the shooting. So these bikers have moved and then flat outed to get Objective 1. Both the Raiders with the Warriors in have only moved up to 12 inches. The Raider here with the Succubus in is holding Objective 4. And the one with Urian in has moved up to grab that one. These Reavers have pulled forward to stay within that 12-inch bubble of Urian to get the +1 to the feel to their power from pain table. The Reaper here as well has pulled back. I'm looking to hopefully get some shots on the Vipers over there. The Ravager stayed exactly where it is, and the Scourge have hopped over the rock to get that one. But the best thing, this Venom got a direct hit looking at the Wraith Lord there. This one I placed behind the objective marker. It's scattered forward. Obviously, Skimmer's still being able to place it, but dangerous terrain. Failed it, and I failed the flicker field save. So that Venom is now immobilised and down to 1 hull point. So we'll now move on to what shooting I've got left to do. Right, so down here, the Venoms took out the Wraith Lord. It was this Venom here managed to do the damage. The Ossifactor from in there, this Venom and the Ossifactor managed to take out most of that squad there as well. Past his leadership though, Stu was worried in case he was going to roll over a 10. He rolled a 9, so he stayed just. Down here, the Reaper fired its blast template, clipped these two, scored a pen on this one, so this one is now stunned and shaken, so it can't move next turn. This one I got a glance on from one of the disintegrator cannons over here. The Ravager didn't shoot as I thought it still had line of sight, but it didn't, unfortunately. So that is the end of the shooting phase. I'm not going to do any assaults or anything, so we'll just come back with the scores on the doors. Right, so I scored no prisoners. I only killed one unit, which was the Wraith Lord. Death by 1,000 cuts. I removed casualties from 2 units, not 3, unfortunately, because the Vipers jinked and managed to save a couple. I've got secure objective 3. Overwhelming firepower. I killed the Wraith Lord. Big Game Hunter, destroy monstrous creature, killed the Wraith Lord. And I do score domination. The Racks scored first blood as well, so that is an additional victory point. But it's D3 instead of 1, so I'm on. Let's have a look then. Domination, the D3 for domination is 1, so I get 4 for domination, and the D3 for first blood, 3. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. That's 12 points in turn 1. So we'll now come back after Stu has drawn his cards. I'm going to keep Fear and Terror because the Grotesques and the Racks are going to be causing fear next turn anyway, so we'll hope for that. Alright, so Stu has drawn Secure Objective 1, Behind Enemy Lines, Psychological Warfare, Combined Strike, Big Game Hunter, and Hungry for Glory. I think Big Game Hunter is going to be the one he goes for with me having so many vehicles, so we'll see what he can do. Right, so at the start of Stu's movement, he's pulled these 2 Vipers down this side, probably looking to take these guys out. He's abandoned the one that was shaken and stunned, but they are still jinking. These bikes are flat outed to trump me on here, as my bikes are fast attack, Stu's are troops, so he's going to trump me for that. Over here, the Wave Serpent and the Fire Prism have pulled to one side, looking to get some shots down, and the Warwalkers pivoted, looking to probably take out that Venom there. I don't think Stu likes the firepower that it laid down last turn. The bikes there as well have pulled forward. I think he's probably going to look to cast some Psychic on there. Just a note as well, he has flat outed them at the start of the shooting phase. I did allow him to do that. Obviously, we've still got Psychic phase to do, so we'll come back after he's done the Psychic phase and the shooting. Right, so in the Psychic phase down here, the Farseer cast Fortune on himself and Stu perilled. He rolled a 2, which meant he ended up forgetting Guide. He had a spare warp charge though, so he negated the wound. Those have also shot down at this Venom and didn't cause any hull points on that. I elected not to jink with getting the 5-up invuln. These guys did battle focus, but they only got a 1-inch run after they'd shot, and they managed to wreck the Venom there. Meanwhile, over here, these guys snap-shooted at the Reaver jet bikes. Despite a 2-up jink, because it's night fighting, I lost one. They did pass the leadership test though, so they are standing where they are. Stu says he's got an assault to make, but before that, this Raider is now jinking due to fire from the Wave Serpent and the Fire Prism over there. He did get a couple of I think he got a glance actually, but managed to save it due to the Night Shields and the Jink save. So we'll now move on to the assault phase. Right, so in the assault phase, the Singing Spear, Armour Bane, Strength 5 because of Shard of Anaris. Farseer managed to wreck the Venom there. The Racks got out. Those ones are pinned. Just need to point out that those ones weren't as a result of the shooting phase. They're going to be fine going into turn 2 because they're fearless, but Stu does have a card for that for this turn. So we'll just look at these points. Secure Objective 1, he's got there. Psychological Warfare, he just scored for pinning those Racks. Behind Enemy Lines, well, the Vipers are here. And Big Game Hunter, which is destroy a vehicle, he killed the Venom. He's also got Combined Strike here as well. He killed one of the Venoms in the shooting phase, and then the Farseer killed the other one in the assault phase as well. So Stu's got D3 to roll for that, so do you want to roll that?
Yeah, which I can re-roll for my Warlord trait as well.
He can indeed. That's a 1, he's going to re-roll it for 3, so that gives Stu 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 points. That's 7 to 12. That's to the Dark Eldar. So we'll now move on to Dark Eldar turn 2. Right, so cards for Dark Eldar turn 2. Fear and Terror. I kept that from last turn. Blood and Guts, which is kill something in the assault phase. Take them alive, which is kill something in the assault phase as well, basically. Secure objective 2, and no escape, kill something that's fallen back. So that's probably the one I'm not going to get. The only reserve I've got is the Razor Wing, so does it come on? Yes, it does. So we'll now come back after Dark Eldar movement phase. Right, so movement phase. The Reavers have pulled forward, looking to assault these guys. I need to move those racks a little bit closer actually. These guys got a poor move through a cover, they only got a 2-inch move. Just to point out as well, they all gear up now because they're fearless. The Scourge have already moved and ran from their objective. They've got a 5-inch run up to here. The Ravager passed its dangerous terrain on here, looking to get a line through all of this at him. This Raider has pulled forward 6 inches, and the Grotesques and the Succubus are getting out, looking to hopefully get into these. The Reaper moved up here to get some shots down on Stuart's backfield, past its dangerous terrain, thank God. And these Raiders have pulled back due to lack of any other targets. I'm going to look to hopefully do some damage on these with the disintegrator cannons. The Razor Wing here, looking to shoot down at the Warwalkers, and Urian and the Grotesques of getting out, and they can get through the rocks there. So they've got a normal move straight, and they're looking to charge these Warwalkers and hopefully take some of them out. So we'll now move on to the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase down here. Stu has elected to jink these. The disintegrate cannons from the front of these Raiders shot down and caused another glance on this one. Down here, the Ravager shot, got 2 hits on this Viper, passed both of his jink saves. Down here, however, the Razor Wing got 3 hits with the Strength 6 Shred missiles. Obviously Shred didn't work against the armour, but Strength 6 got through, and the disintegrator cannons, and I managed to cause 2 of them to go, which was absolutely great. Down here, the 2 ossifactors from the racks didn't cause any wounds against those guys. Those are jinking. I've still got these Reavers to fire, but disintegrator cannons here, and rapid fire splinter rifles at these guys. Stu passed every single one of his jink saves. Every single one. Down here, the Reaper got a shot down on the fire prism. He did get a pen. He rolled a 6 for hairwire with the large blast on it. But Stu's Spirit Stones.
Yes.
Knocked it down and ignored the result, which was crew shaken. The template scattered back onto the Wave Serpent there as well, which meant Stu couldn't jink, but he did have his invuln, which he failed unfortunately. So I've got the assault phase to do after I've shot those guys. Possibly I might leave it actually. So yeah, we'll come back after the assault phase. Right, so assault phase, the Grotesques have charged in at the Wind Riders here. They were going through the cover and they needed a 9-inch charge, and I rolled an 11. So they're in. The Reavers obviously made it in as well. Down here, the Grotesques have made it in with the Lone Warwalker. And over here, I charged the racks that were in cover through first, needing a 9-inch charge. And they made it as well. Those guys then made it in, and these needed an 8. And they also made it in as well. So we've got some nasty Hammer of Wraths coming Stu's way. So we'll come back after the assault phase. So we're just doing this assault phase here, right? And I worked out the cluster Caltrops first at initiative 10. D6 strength 6 Rending Hammer of Wraths. I rolled a 6 and I just rolled a wound and got this. So
the Craftworlds are going to be crying.
Yeah, so they've gone before I even get to do any other attacks at all. So we'll move on to the other ones now. Right, so down here obviously the Reavers took out the jet bikes over here. Down here the Grotesques managed to wreck the last walker, didn't blow it up. Stu did get 1 wound back, but I passed the feel no pain. Meanwhile down here, despite all the Hammer of Wrath and all them attacks from the racks getting 3 each on the charge, Stu's fortune seriously paid off. He failed 2 saves out of about 12 wounds and re-rolled and saved them all. So yeah, I was hoping to kill them, but never mind. We'll now add up the points and see what the score is. Right, so Blood and Guts, kill something in the assault phase I managed to get. I didn't kill 3 due to not killing the Farseer, unfortunately. Take them alive. Again, I didn't kill the Farseer, so I only get 1 point for that. Secure Objective 2, the Raider is on, so I score 3 points. I've got Fear and Terror still, and I've got No Escape. I don't know whether to discard either of them or not. No Escape's definitely the harder one, but he has got the Scorpions with Shrouded. And Fear and Terror. Could do it. There's not much left with Leadership, and the Aspect Host formation can re-roll. So, I think I'll discard No Escape, and we'll keep hold of Fear and Terror. So at the end of Dark Eldar turn 2, the score is 15-7. So we'll now move on to Eldar turn 2. Right, so Eldar turn 2, Stu has drawn Ascendancy, Kingslayer, Hold the Line, which is going to be difficult considering I've got 4 units there, Secure Objective 3, and Secure Objective 2. So we're going to roll for his reserves and we'll see what he can do. Right, so the Wave Serpent with the Scorpions in is outflanked onto this side. He's looking to get some shots in on the back of the Ravager. Stu also tried to deep strike his Warp Spiders. He tried to get closer to the Scourge over here, but he did scatter back, unfortunately. For the rest of his movement, the Viper that was by itself has now moved up to join back with the Squadron. They are all jinking though. Fire Prism's pulled around to the side, looking to get some shots down at the Raiders here. And the Wave Serpent, the Fire Dragons are getting out, looking to get some nice juicy shots in on those Grotesque there. So that was it for Stu's movement phase. The Crimson Hunter didn't come in, so we'll now move on to the Psychic and Shooting phase. Right, so Shooting phase down here, the Ravager has now gone. I elected not to jink as I was getting a small cover save, and Stu caused 1 hull point with the scatter lasers in the cannon. He then shot the shield, and unfortunately he got 2 glances and a pen, so it just wasn't enough. Down here, the Spiders shot at the Scourge, killed 3 of them. I made a couple of saves, and they passed the Leadership test. Down here, the Fire Prism elected to shoot up at the Reaper. I elected not to jink the shrubbery there, and the Night Shield's granted a phobe cover without jinking, and Stu missed, unfortunately. Down here, the Vipers snapshot at all of the Grotesques and caused 2 wounds there. Didn't pass any feel no pains. The rest of the shooting, the Wave Serpent shot up at the Razor Wing and caused a hull point on it. And down here, I only lost a single wound to all of the Fire Dragons. The Battle Focus back out of the way as well. So we've now got this assault phase to work out, and if Stu wants to do any more assaults as well. Right, so in the assault phase down here, no wounds caused either way. Saves were passed. The Racks did abysmal, only scored 3 wounds against the Farseer. And obviously re-rolling saves, Stu managed to save them all. The Reavers then decided to hit and run out, and they've gone this way to get the Fire Dragons hopefully in their turn. So Stu is elected to discard Hold the Line. He has to discard a card this turn, so that's the one that he's decided to discard. So as it stands, the score is still 15-7. We'll now move on to Dark Eldar turn 3. Right, so the cards I've drawn is Secure Objective 6, Scour the Skies, Supremacy, and I've kept hold of Fear and Terror, so let's see what we can do. Right, so the Razor Wings flew off the board. This Raider has just pulled forward, still to keep hold of our objective, and the Grotesques here move forward, looking to hopefully get rid of these guys. Down here, the 2 Reavers have pulled to the side, looking to hopefully get rid of the last 2 hull points on that if I roll well with my Cluster Caltrops. These guys got a 6-inch move through cover, so they're heading for the Fire Dragons, and then probably the Wave Serpent as well. This Raider stayed exactly where it was just to secure their objective. These Scourge have hopped 12 inches over from here, looking to get a shot down on the Wave Serpent over there. This Raider has flat outed. It was just within 30 inches of Objective 6. This one is also flat outed as well. Hopefully I can take out the Scorpions once they get out of there. And the Reaper has pivoted, looking to get hopefully some good shots down at the Wave Serpent, and hopefully with the combined fire of that Scourge take it out. So we'll now move on to the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase. Despite the Reaper getting 3 hits on that because of its targeted whatever thing it is, I rolled a 5 for the D3, so I got 3 haywires and only 1 went through. I rolled 2 1s, unfortunately. The Scourge also got a glance on it, but Stu managed to pass his Invuln there as well, so that's only lost 1 hull point. Down here, these have assaulted in and I've lost a wound on this side to Overwatch. The disintegrated cannon from here shot down at the fire dragons but didn't hit. And these guys managed to get into combat. The front guy didn't take a wound due to cover save and feel no pain. The Reavers, I didn't shoot at anything, so I thought if the Grotesques don't make it in there, I'll charge them. If they do, I'll charge back to here. And I needed a 6-inch charge and I rolled a 5, so they are not in. Other combats, the Reavers have charged here. Yes, it's going to be difficult, but I'm hoping to get lucky with the Caltrops. So we'll come back after the assault phase. So the assault phase down here was abysmal. I scored 1 glance on these, and the worst thing is they're now not jinking. So that's going to be some serious firepower coming in next turn. Down here, didn't get lucky with the Caltrops, unfortunately. Over there, despite re-rolling wounds, the fire dragons passed nearly all of their saves. I lost a wound to a melter bomb, but at the end of my turn it will not die, granted me a wound back as well. Down here, the Farseer finally cut down 2 racks, and the 5 racks on that side managed to cut down just the lone Wind Rider there. They're both fearless, so they're both stuck in combat over there. So we'll now move on to Stu's turn 3. Right, so for my points, I score Secure Objective 6 and Supremacy. That scores me D3. That's 1 point, so that puts me at 17 to 7. I've decided I'm going to keep both of these, as I still think I can get this. So we'll now move on to Eldar, turn 3. Right, so Stu's still got Ascendancy, Kingslayer, Secure 3 and Secure 2. For movement, he's moved the not the Fire Prism, the Wave Serpent out the way, a little bit further up there, and the Fire Prism this side has come down, looking to get some shots on the Grotesques, I reckon. Over here, the Spiders have moved forward. They're just outside of the 3 inches for the minute, so I think Stu's probably going to battle focus or warp jump them. Over here, this Wave Serpent has moved up and the Scorpions are getting out into cover, so they're going to be difficult to shift. The only other movement was the Crimson Hunter came on. He came on from straight over the Spiders and turned his 90. He's looking to blow me off Objective 2. The Vipers as well pulled round, looking to get some serious amount of shots down on the Succubus and the Grotesques there as well. So we'll come back after the Psychic and shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase down here, the Grotesques and the Succubus, despite all the lookout says, the Succubus actually failed one. She went down to the shuriken cannons from these being a full ballistic skill. The Fire Prism then took out the last 2 as well. So they're gone. Over here, fired the Eldar missile launcher strength 8 through this one and scored a hull point on it with the shields. Down here, this Raider is now immobilised due to the Crimson Hunter Exarch doing some damage there. Spiders battle focused and secured Objective 3, and the Wave Serpent here as well took out the remaining 2 Scourge. So that was everything for the shooting phase. We're now going to go on to the assault phase. Right, so down here, the Grotesques managed to kill one of the Fire Dragons back. The Fire Dragons caused a single wound with the melter bombs, so that's a tied combat there again. Over here, Farseer got a single wound on and I passed the feel no pain. The Racks didn't get a single wound back, so again that's another tied combat. So we'll come back and add Stu's points up. So Stu got Kingslayer this turn, which means he scores D3 as well as the 1 point for Slayer the Warlord, and he gets Secure Objective 3 for the Spiders. So Stu, do you want to roll that D3? He gets 3 points, that's 4, that's 5, that puts his score at 15-12. He's got Ascendancy, Secure Objective 2, do you want to discard any?
I think I will get rid of secure pillars 2.
No problem. I just realised as well I actually got 2 points in my turn, so the score's actually 17-12. We'll now move on to Dark Eldar turn 4. Right, so I've still kept hold of Fear and Terror, I've kept Scour the Skies, and I drew Hungry for Glory. Kind of wish I'd get rid of Scour the Skies now, as I feel like I need to go after the Scorpion, so I'll show you my movement phase. Right, so movement phase, the Razor Wing is looking to get beat down on these guys with the Disintegrator Cannons and the Fleshbane Missiles that it's still got. The Reaper has pivoted slightly, looking to drop the large template on it as well. This Raider here, I've had to move off the objective because he's got line of sight at the Scorpions through there. And the Disintegrator Cannon will hopefully get rid of one of these Vipers here. This Raider, unfortunately, I didn't really have much to do with it. It was out of range of anything or couldn't really damage anything. Stu's got a lot of armour left and there's a lot of poison in there that I haven't been able to shoot. I'm unfortunately out of range of the Scorpions, but I'm hoping to be able to get them next turn. For additional movement, these Reavers have moved this way and those have moved that way as well, and I'm hoping to get Urian to issue a challenge over there. That's it for movement, so we'll now move on to shooting. Right, so welcome back after shooting. I got 2 pretty good hits with the Fleshbane Missiles. I unloaded the Disintegrator Cannons and got 2 hits snapfiring the Twin-Linked Splinter Rifle. 17 wounds, and Stu only lost that many number, however many number, of Scorpions, and they passed the leadership test despite also being shot up by that Disintegrator Cannon, and 15 poison shots coming through there as well. I also shot the Reaper's large blast down on them, and I thought, well, champion, if I target them, he can't jink. And I scattered wildly over here. So that was that. Over here, this Viper went down to the Disintegrator Cannon, shooting a full ballistic skill from that Raider. This one decided to have a snapshot at this and did get a hit, but didn't get through. The only other thing left to do is the assault phases, and I want them out of that combat to then go for this one in turn 5. So we'll now come back after the assault phase. Right, so down here, all the Reavers made it in. I got so excited with the cluster Caltrops, I forgot to issue a challenge with Urian, and the Caltrops killed the Exarch and the 2 Fire Dragons outright. So they've all consolidated, looking to get beaten down on this Farseer, which is when I will issue a challenge in my next turn. In that combat, nothing, completely tied up. So we'll just add the points up and come back. Right, so I had Fear and Terror and Hungry for Glory issue a challenge. I forgot to issue a challenge, but I'm going to get that next turn, so I'm going to keep hold of that. Fear and Terror, he passed his Fear test again. I've got to discard a card this turn, so I'm going to discard Scour the Skies. So as it stands, it's 17-12. Right, so Stu's cards are he's drawn. Guardians of the Hidden Path, and he's rolled a 4. Ascendancy and Secure Objective 5. Guardians of the Hidden Path, like I said, Stu rolled a 4, so no enemy units within 12 inches of that objective. The objective is here, and I've got 2 units within 12. So Stu's going to have to get rid of them two to score that, so we'll come back at the end of Stu's movement phase. Right, so movement phase, the Fire Prism's moved up to control this objective, and the Wave Serpent and the Viper are looking to hopefully take out one of those two, or the Reaper up here. The Spiders have stayed where they are, and the Scorpions are looking to hopefully get a charge in over there. Stu looks like he's going to be going for Ascendancy, which is control any 3, I believe. So we'll come back after the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase down here, the Fire Prism targeted the Raider that couldn't jink and managed to take it out. The combined fire from the Wave Serpent and the Viper stripped this guy down to 1 hull point. Over here, Scorpions have moved forward and getting a couple of shots in on that Raider, but didn't do anything. The Crimson Hunter Exarch, meanwhile, got 3 pens against the Razor Wing, and he jinked all of them like an absolute boss. So that's the end of the shooting phase. We'll now move on to the assault phase. Right, so welcome back. Stu's getting Ascendancy, and we'll talk you through how comes. So, the Fire Prism's on here. Just to note as well, I know I said we were done with the shooting phase, but the Warp Spiders here battle focused 4 inches, and the front 2 got the final hit on these. So these guys got out. Over here, Stu got 1 pen from the Exarch, and then the other guys managed to get 2 glances on it, so took that raider out. He needed 6 to glances, and he was down to the last guy, and unfortunately got that 1 6 that he was waiting for. So they secure that one, the Warp Spiders secure that, and these guys secure that. So that scores Stu D3. Do you want to roll it?
Certainly will.
And that's 3 points, so that puts the score at 17-15 to Dark Eldar going into turn 5. Right, so just to point out, last turn as well, Stu managed to kill a single rack, but obviously both are fearless, so that was that. Down here, I've moved everything further up. I've still got Fear and Terror and issue a challenge, so I'm going to be issuing a challenge this turn, and I will remember it against the Farseer. Other movement what I've done is I've moved this raider up here, hopefully get rid of them scorpions down there. They've lost Shrouded because they've now assaulted. Over here, the warriors that got out are looking to hopefully charge this, and the Razor Wing Lord snap shooting. I'm hoping to get rid of the Viper here first. If not, then I think I might be multi-charging. So we'll come back after the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase. Down here, the Disintegrator Cannon from the Ravager got 1 hit but didn't do anything against the Viper there, so I'm hoping to take that and the Wave Serpent out in the assault phase. Shooting phase, down here, the Reaper scored 2 hits with the concentrated fire beam. Stu managed to jink them both. And I realised after I'd moved the raider to there, I was going to shoot down at the scorpions, but the scorpions are over there with nothing to do for at least another turn. So I shouldn't have moved the raider. I should have stayed where he was and secure objective 5 and shot through the rocks down at them instead. So instead, I flatted out back to there to hopefully prevent Stu from getting objective 5. So that was it for the shooting phase. I've only got the assaults to go over there, so I'm going to charge in with the grotesques, and I'll do that now. Well, even as a 5 that's in, Urian issues a challenge to the Farseer just so that I don't forget that. So we'll come back after the assault. Right, so over here, Urian rolled a 6 to wound against the Farseer, despite the Farseer only causing 1 wound on Urian and passing him his invuln. And I rolled a 6 and Stu failed his invuln, so he melted from the inside. As you can see, everybody over there has consolidated out. I rolled It Will Not Die for the grotesque here, but he didn't get a wound back. Over here, the warriors, now having Furious Charge from last turn, charged the Viper, and I got that single 6 that I was absolutely desperate to get. So that was the end of the turn. We'll now add up the points. Right, so for the points, Hungry for Glory, I got a point 4, and Slay the Warlord gets me 19 points to Stu's 15, I believe. And I'm going to discard Fear and Terror, as the only thing left is the Scorpions and they're too far out the way. So yeah, I'm going to discard that one. So we'll now move on to Stu's turn 5. Right, so going into Eldar turn 5, Stu's still got secure objective 5, and he's drew Harness the Warp, and unfortunately the Farseer has just being liquidated. So we'll now move on to the movement phase. Movement phase, the Fire Prism has moved out, looking to get a shot down at the raider right up there. Over here, the Warp Spiders have pulled forward, looking to do as much damage on the grotesques as possible. Stu's elected to keep the Scorpions at the back for the moment, and the Crimson Hunter here has flew around looking to get beat down on this, as well as the Wave Serpent, hopefully to take out some warriors and stuff as well. So we'll see what damage Stu can do. Right, so down here the Spiders fired everything, got a number of wounds, and despite a 6-up save, I managed to save a couple of them, and then Feel No Pains, I only failed 2 of them. So the front guy there is down onto 1 wound. The Warp Spiders have then assault jumped back this way. Meanwhile, over here, a lone warrior denies Stu that point. Basically, the Crimson Hunter took out the raider first. The large blast, strength 5 AP3, was dropped on all 9 warriors as 1 died in the explosion.
That's from the Fire Prism.
From the Fire Prism. And yeah, 3 stood. down here, the scatter laser, and the Shuriken cannon. The scatter laser fired at 3 of them. They passed some of the saves and some of the feel no pains, and it left 1 guy standing. The Shuriken cannon then fired, and Stu missed with all 3. He had 1 chance left. This Wave Serpent with its 2-shot, strength 5, AP 3. Despite being twin-linked, he got 1 shot. I got a 5-up cover because of the trees, which I failed, and I passed me 5-up feel no pain, and he is fearless due to it being turned 5. So that denies Stu objective number 5. So we haven't done any assaults. The only assault that Stu wanted to do was assault move them, so we'll come back after we've added the points up. Right, so Stu didn't get secure objective 5 or harness the warp, so as the game stands, it is 19-16 to the Dark Eldar. So Stu, does the game continue? It does not. With Linebreaker, that's a score of 20 points to 16. So Stu, what are your thoughts on today's game?
Very good. First time I played against Dark Eldar as well. I'm quite happy with the score, even though I lost, but not by a massive amount, especially since turn 1 you were like 6 points ahead of us straight away. Very, very quick force. I've never come up against like a really fast force, but I'm quite happy. There's a couple of changes I would make in my list. Things like the Fire Dragons didn't really do much this time round. I think it was just the opportunity. All in all, really, really fun game. I would definitely have a rematch against Dark Eldar now that I can know a little bit more what to do. Maybe it's changed the list a little bit. I think the Wraith Knight was a bit of a miss as well. But in 1850 points, you know, some people would argue that he took a lot of points as well for that. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, the Grotesques here surviving as long as they didn't then get an Eternal Warrior. I haven't used the Grotesque for a while. Actually, I've been taking the racks quite a lot. But when you made mincemeat of the ones down here, wow. I struggled a little bit towards the end there as Stu took out quite a lot of me anti-tank. And he took quite an armour heavy list, which meant I was really struggling, especially through turns sort of 3 and 4. But I've really, really enjoyed the game. It's been really tense back and forth for the whole match. And so yeah, this is the end of the first challenge series that I've done. I'm going to call it challenge accepted. So if you would like to challenge me, I'm happy to use any of the armies that I've got available. The only conditions are all of your models must be at least tabletop standard with 3 colours minimum on, and obviously must be Battleforged. We're not going to go unbound with this, and yeah, but if you fancy challenge me, hit me up and hopefully we can arrange something. So please check out the rest of the channel, guys. There's a lot of Dark Eldar videos in there as well. I've started doing some Eldar allies, so check those out as well, but stay tuned for more battle reports. Thanks very much.